Hello everyone. Have you got questions about back pay? Are you wondering if you're going to get it or not? How much it's going to be? When will you get it? Well, I can answer some of that. Stand by. Hello everyone. Let's talk about back pay. I'm sure you're all wondering about why, how, when, all of the wonderful questions about back pay. Well, I can't answer all of it, but I can answer the important stuff. So let's go right into it. I'm talking a little louder this week because of issues with the microphone, so please forgive me there. Hopefully you can understand me, and the video will work out well. And in podcast land, everything will hopefully be good there. So let's just dive right in. So the reason I bring up back pay is this reason. A lot of retirees come to me and apply for their retirement late, and they're always concerned that they might be losing money. And I always tell them that most of the time they don't have to worry. There is a provision in federal law that says they can get back pay up to a certain point. And in the majority of cases, they're going to be just fine. There is a limit, of course, because no one wants to be liable for back pay indefinitely. So if you look in federal law, and don't worry, I've done it for you, so you don't have to. That's why I'm here. For those of you who want to double check me, you can look in Title 31, subsection 3702. Now the question is, how many of you actually will? Let's see, I'm going to guess out of 1,000 people probably watching this, one. And that's probably me. But that's okay. That's why I'm here. So if you look in that particular set of law, it talks about back pay for Department of Defense and for certain other sections of government. And it gives specific limits to how much time there is to settle back pay. The amount of time that you have, or rather the amount of back pay that will be paid to an individual or a group or whatever, is 6 years. So if you apply for retired pay, or if you have some other sort of obligation that is owed to you, then 6 years is as far back as the back pay will go. Now, the good news is, at least on the retired pay side of things, that's about as far back as most people tend to go. Although I do have one guy that is over that quite a bit. I've actually got one guy who's somewhere in the backwoods of North Carolina, living in a cabin off the grid, who is 10 years late, and I have no way to find this guy. I wish I could, because he has never applied for his retirement. Who knows? Maybe he's good to go and doesn't need it. But I would still love to cross him off my list. I've been looking for this guy since 2013, 2014, quite a while. I'd love to find him. All right, so you can get back pay for up to 6 years. That's the good news. Now, I have a little bit of better news for you. Believe it or not, in some cases you can actually go farther than that. If you actually read this section of law, there is a provision at the very end that allows for a waiver to this 6-year limitation on back pay. However, there is a limit to it. That limit is the waiver will only allow for a payment of up to another $25,000. Now, that could be still a substantial amount of money. In fact, I had one individual who was owed, let's see if I can remember the number correctly. He was actually owed about $200,000 and was able to get about $186,000 of it, and the rest was lost because he exceeded the back pay amount. So or the back pay time limit, even with that waiver. But he was still able to get most of it. Now, here is the good news. The first 6 years of back pay, when you apply for whatever type of money this is, be it survivor benefits or retired pay or whatever, the pay center for your branch of service is going to automatically calculate back pay for up to 6 years. If you want consideration for a waiver to the limitation, to that 6-year limitation, you have to ask for it. And what I'm going to do is post a letter that was written by the widow of a deceased service member to the Defense Finance and Accounting Service requesting a waiver to that back pay time limit that you can download and use as a basis for your own request for waiver. So there's a little tool for you to use, and hopefully it's useful to you. So there. You now know that there is a 6-year limit to back pay and even a slight waiver to it in some cases. Now, you have to give a good reason for it. You can't just say, I want more money, please give it to me. You have to give a good reason. For example, in the case of this widow, her husband never applied for his retired pay. She was not even aware that there was survivor benefits available to her, and when a retirement services officer finally found her years later, it was greater than 6 years after his death. So, since she had not been aware of any benefits available to her, she requested this waiver. Now, there was a lot of other stuff involved in her particular case. I won't go into that, but just be aware this waiver is available for request. And like any request, it can be approved or denied. So just keep that in the back of your mind. All right. This is a short episode for this week just because it's a simple topic. So rejoice. You don't get to hear me talk for 30 or 40 minutes like you do sometimes. That's all there is. So if you liked what you heard this week, then please come over here to the corner of the screen and hit subscribe. I almost pointed to the wrong side again. Did you notice that? I always do. So please come over here and subscribe. Hit like on this video. If you're out there in podcast land, be it Stitcher or iTunes, then please subscribe as well. If you're out there on iTunes, I would ask that you write a short review of this podcast and let other people know what you think. And, of course, for this video or any others in the YouTube universe, write a comment, let people know what you think, ask a question, leave a comment, let people know what's going on. Is this good info? Is it bad? Is it so-so? Could it be better? Is the audio quality bad like it was for some of the others I've done? I'm trying to fix that. I'm looking at my microphone right now, staring at it because I'm still trying to get the settings just right, and that's the operator, not the equipment. But we'll work that out. We'll get it fixed. All right. Please remember that there are other programs out there regarding this topic. There is a radio program on 7780 kilohertz that airs every Sunday at 16:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you don't have a shortwave radio, then there are links on the RC Retirement website where you can get affordable radios. And if you are so inclined, you can also go to patreon.com/RCRetirement and join the new Patreon campaign and support this program. All right, that is all for this week. Thank you so much for being part of this audience, and as always, thank you for your service. Have a great day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, and financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.